What's up, everybody? It's your girl, Brandi.
It's your boy, Russell the Fourth.
And we are back with another episode of the What They Never Told Us podcast.
Welcome back. We're in Brandi's house. It is freezing.
So much for the illusion that the studio was like some building that we bought that's like big and beautiful and illustrious.
Is that what you think this backdrop is giving to people?
They didn't know.
They knew we are not in this.
They didn't know.
Why can't it be in your beautiful, luxurious mansion? This is off the fourth floor of your mansion that the studios, but it's cold. I have my hood on. Brandi made me take it off. I have no hair on my head. And now she won't even put her foot against mine. Like,
you're supposed to blame your genetics on that, not me.
Oh.
It's not my fault you got a bald head.
Oh.
Okay. Anyways,
that foot rub.
The seasons have changed here in Michigan. It was literally a day process. It was hot, nice and warm, like and feel good. And then it rained all day for 2 days, and now it is in the 50s, and it is cold. But I feel like you just layer up. Like, look at me. I got on my little Art of Homage.
First of all, you know I'm always cold. This is not news to you, but layers don't do anything for me.
How many layers do you have on right now?
Tank top, t-shirt, hoodie, jean jacket.
And you're still cold?
Yes. You're not cold?
No.
We've been sick for days. That's another thing. We've been holed up in the house. I've been taking in sick days because we had a bit of a COVID scare.
Yeah.
We have, we had a little bit of a scare. Somebody that we were around lost smell.
And taste.
Thank God they tested negative. But, we didn't know what it was, so we just been laying low.
And we not none of them people. Like, we both have had COVID. We believe that COVID is real.
It's real.
In whatever form that it got here, it's here. Yeah. And the way it hit me, I was down bad. I ended up having double pneumonia. So I don't play when it comes to the COVID-19. Listen. I've been in the house.
No, you definitely play when it comes to the vid.
First of all, don't go. You always go back to talking about the old stuff. I'm trying to. This is new Brandi. Shut up. Why are you telling all my business?
You ain't changed. Look, I got sick, right? I had COVID. I'm on quarantine. She would not stay away. All in my face, talking about something. I'm covered by the blood of Jesus. All right.
I didn't get COVID then.
You don't know if you had it. You could have been asymptomatic. How do you know that?
Because you can't get it back to back like that.
Where are you getting your information from? Where's the study at?
The CDC.
Oh my goodness. The CDC did not say you can't get it back to back.
When did you have it? In like June?
No, it was October.
October?
When I got COVID?
Yeah, see, I didn't get COVID until like March.
That's right. It wasn't back to back. You got it twice. It's very possible that you had it twice.
COVID is real. Vaccinated or unvaccinated, it is no joke.
Stay safe out here.
I called into work, but I was like down bad. Just even these last couple days, like body aches, runny nose, cough. Now I have this prolonged cough that just will not leave me, and I don't want to go back to the office and be that person. You know how it is. Like when you cough, everybody just look at you like it's not COVID. I already got tested, so I went and got tested today, and I'm off work until I get the results.
Yeah, I'm off too. So we've been spending a considerable amount of time with each other, and it made me think about like couples who like had to quarantine together, but specifically the couples that were already in a rocky space.
Oh yeah, that's rough.
And then they just like stuck together inside for like a whole year.
Into a room. Don't come in my room. What are you doing? This is not your part of the house.
I'm wondering like what that did for couples. I'm just curious.
I'm going to take a guess. It either did one or two things. It brought them closer together or moved them further apart.
Yeah, I wonder what the norm was, like what it usually did.
If there are any couples that are listening, jump on our live tomorrow and tell us if y'all had to quarantine together, what that was like. Like he said, when he was supposed to quarantine, I was all up in his grill, and then when I had to quarantine, you was kind of standoffish.
I'm wise. You were being foolish.
That mean you don't love me like
and
I love
you.
you.
My COVID didn't look like your COVID. Like when I had it, I just couldn't taste my hot chocolate.
I had the severe version of COVID.
You was in This looks violent. This is what the news been talking about. You got a different type of vid.
I had the vid -19.
I was saying like, look, I listen.
Yours had a 19.
Nah, I had a 19. I just had the vid. You had the vid 19. Your thing was different. I was like, yo.
And then all he kept saying is, I don't like seeing you like this. Like, me either.
Powerless. Like, what am I supposed to do? I'm sitting here like, woo, woo, woo.
The night I came home from the hospital was like the worst. Like, I had a huge breakdown. Like, my body was just in pain.
Every time you cough, you had like these
I don't know what to do.
You just feel powerless. Like,
yeah.
I'm geared to like kind of people please and like try to help. Mm-hmm. And the fact that I just could do nothing when you're in such a great deal of pain, like was really frustrating me. And I definitely froze. Like I was praying, like I turned to the only thing I really could turn to.
Yeah.
But just seeing you cough and like writhing in pain at every cough.
I couldn't breathe.
I was like, oh.
Every time I took a breath, it was like stabbing from the front of my chest to the back of my spine.
And wouldn't let me take you back to the hospital.
They wasn't going to do nothing. They had already told me. I spent, about 6 hours in the lobby of the emergency room. Yeah, they did tell me they were concerned about that. But, yeah, I would like to hear some stories. It is it's a nasty disease.
Ooh.
So we are praying that both of our tests come back negative, and that's not what it is. But we are enjoying the time together. I think
that part.
It's been fun.
It's been fun.
We have maxed out on our shows, so we have
got an
more
episode.
shows.
We tried to start that other show. Did it grab you?
Which one?
Maps. Married at First Sight.
The first episodes of Married at First Sight are always like, for me. I want to see them like living together. So that's what they're getting into. So
it's kind of grabbing more?
Yeah, we'll see.
Okay.
We'll see.
I think this kind of like banter that we have is kind of in the vicinity of where we want to go with our topic today, because it just has to do with interacting with your significant other. Okay. We're talking about communication and / fighting fair. So for those couples that were quarantined together and beefing heavy, I can only imagine what that was like, because when you talk about any type of relationship, really, communication is key.
It's foundational.
It's foundational for any type of relationship. Mm-hmm. And when you start going into the element of romantic relationships, it becomes paramount because the stakes are so much higher.
Yeah. I think on one of the previous episodes, we talked about just briefly about like having a significant sorry, y'all. Ooh. It's like a snot thing stuck there.
Was hidden in what?
Sorry.
Oh, sorry.
A significant other that you feel like you cannot talk to.
Yeah.
And I have had personal situations where I know I have not been a good communicator in the relationships that I've been in. And I don't think I've ever really thought about how that impacts my significant other. Like, I'm not one that is really emotional. So like, if I don't have anything concrete to say to you, I'm not just going to sit and spew my emotions to you. But sometimes people need that. And, even when I was like, I think I'm really great with my words. Like, I think I have a vast vocabulary. I think that I can think quickly and put a sentence together. But when it starts to talk about feelings or emotions or difficult subjects, like, I clam up.
I want to do something.
Oh, Lord.
I want to step on the ledge. I want to show our listeners an exercise in openness and understanding, okay? I want you to tell me the bad aspects of my communication. When we are in tiffs, arguments, what are the things that I need to work on?
Yeah,
tell me.
He won't try to see a fight or something, because as soon as I say something, I don't do that.
I'm really trying to display open, honest.
I'm joking. So what do you want to know? What do you do bad as far as communication?
Yeah, what are the things I need to work on? Tell me my bad habits.
You are, in my opinion, too emotional.
Okay.
I think that one of the things that we notice when we are having difficult conversations, or the one thing that I notice, I should say, is that I think I told you this before, so I hope this isn't a surprise, that it feels like you assume the worst out of what I'm saying. So if there is a right way to take it and a wrong way to take it, I feel like sometimes you always err on the side of the wrong way. And I'm constantly feeling like, that's not what I meant. That's not what I meant. No. And then I have to try to explain to you. And I think if I repeat myself a lot, like I feel like you don't understand, I shut down, and then I feel like that shuts you down. So I think you're high on emotions and you're very responsive to the energy that I'm giving out, good or bad. Other than that, I think that you actually are a really good communicator. I think I could learn a lot from you in the aspects of communication. So I can't really nitpick it, because I feel like when we get into tiffs and we work our way through it, I'm always like, oh, I could have done that better.
Okay.
So
can I get it?
Hit me with the 1, 2.
Can I respond?
No. You can just tell me what you think about me. No, it's not. You can't defend it.
We're doing a podcast, and this episode is going to be about an hour. So what I'm trying to do is just kind of fill it up with content.
Stretch it out. Okay,
stretch it out a little bit.
Go ahead, tell me.
There was. See, now you made me forget. What was the first thing you said?
That you respond with a lot of emotion.
Yeah, no, that second thing there.
Okay, that I feel like if there's a right way or a wrong way to take what I'm saying, you automatically take it the wrong way.
Yeah. I recognize that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this is something we talked about. If not, then it'll be new for you. But all information we get goes through the filter of our heart,
mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So oftentimes when we hear things that we aren't secure in,
mm-hmm.
They trigger defense mechanisms because we're kind of trying to protect our idea of self, right?
Yes.
So when you say things that kind of trigger my little alarm system to like protect my idea of self, I can see how that happens.
Mm-hmm.
I can see how I fall into the worst of what you're trying
mm-hmm.
to say.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think that's relatable to a lot of people, because when we hear, especially when we get into that space of emotions,
mm-hmm.
we begin to lose rationale.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yes.
And once
yes.
you lose rationale, you're taking that information wherever it belongs in your mind and in your spirit, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if I struggle to believe that, let's just, for example, right? Let's say I struggle in the area of feeling worthy in a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
If you tell me, baby, when you do this, it makes me feel like this, you might just be communicating
mm-hmm.
an area in which you need me to make some adjustments, but I hear reinforcements of why she doesn't think I'm worthy. Now that's not from you.
Yeah.
That's not your stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Clearly that's my heart.
Right.
But when I get that information,
mm-hmm.
it goes through my filter.
Mm-hmm.
So I can see how, depending on what we're talking about, I can see a trigger that, like, you're saying this. Yeah. I'm not saying that. That's exactly what you said.
Not what I meant, but
that's exactly what you said. No, it's not. I'm definitely.
I thought of something else as you were talking.
Hit me with it. I'm open.
So we had this conversation the other day, and it was I forgot. You was talking too long, and I forgot.
Wow, ladies and gentlemen, this is old age. You know, you said something that I forgot. I forgot.
It was a really good thought.
It'll come back.
It was something that we just recently talked about as far as communication, and I think it was like yesterday or the day before yesterday, but I literally cannot remember right now.
It might come back.
Okay, so you go ahead. I'm going to think about it while you tell me what my growing points of communication.
You know what's crazy?
What?
Something else I'm not good at is difficult conversations. Too much sugar and not enough. Just
I remember. See? You did a good job.
Look at me, self-evaluation.
You did a good job, babe. You did a good job.
Yeah.
So it was when we were talking about something, I don't even remember what it was, but we were having what you call barbershop talk, where like we're elevated and we're going back and forth. We're not arguing, we're debating a topic and it's getting passionate. And you said you're not used to having that type of conversation with a female or with a girl that you are in a relationship with. And I think that shows when we are just having like, not even arguments, but just intelligent conversation about world topics, life topics, whatever. And I feel like for you, it feels really like personal attack where I'm like, no, we're just talking. Like,
nah, can I explain? I love that stuff. It's just that I've never been in a relationship. That's me bringing my past into present things. Every relationship I've been in, when I go there, it's like, why did you talk to me like that? I'm like, yo, we're just talking about the election. It has nothing to do with us. Like, I'm just passionate. So if I say, I'm telling you, I feel you. President Obama was a good president, but I feel like he could have did more for black people.
Don't be talking about my.
I'm just throwing out something that would make like that.
My president.
I'm throwing out a sticky statement that would make people, you know.
Yeah.
So if I'm having these conversations, then it's almost like a shutdown and like, you know. Like, I've been in relationships where it was traumatic, where they came from traumatic situations where there was a lot of yelling in the house. So when I did that, it triggered aggression, and I almost felt like abusive. So when I saw you getting elevated, I was like, okay, is this? Are we
it
in
was
that space
almost
again?
like this instant, like I gotta smooth this over. Like I want you to know that I'm not saying
that's
and
not.
I'm not, and I'm like, yo,
but
like,
I want you to know that's not me. I want you to know that's not me.
Talking.
Most people tell me. I remember I was in college and people were like, "Yo, like you're cool, but like you're kind of like a buzzkill. Like not everything's a debate." I just really like debating. I like going back and forth, almost to a fault.
But not with your lady.
No, I'm so with that. I've just never had that dynamic.
Okay.
So when I saw you getting elevated, I misread it.
Okay, I get that.
But that's not my like. Now that I know we're cool.
I still don't want to like debate with you like that on a regular
First
basis.
of all,
we're not about to turn this into the Joe Budden podcast. Like,
you know what?
I don't want to do that.
So I realized that I struggle with hard conversations because when it was my turn, like I got nervous.
You got scared that you were going to say something that
I'm trying to find the best way to say it.
Oh my goodness.
Like,
all the sugar.
it's not like you. It's just sometimes you
just hit me with it. I got tough skin.
So you're emotional, incredibly emotional.
Yeah.
But with no understanding of emotions.
That's fact.
And I hate it. It's like, you keep saying I'm not emotional. Yes, you are. I've spent a considerable amount of time with you. You are so emotional.
I know a few emotions.
But it goes through this filter of the heart. And there's only a few things you allow yourself to show. So you could feel you have a wide range of stuff that you feel, but it only comes out in like 2 or 3 emotions that you're comfortable showing. Which are what? Anger, number 1. Assertiveness and aggression.
Those are all the
3 A's. The 3 A's. They're all negative. They're all anger, irritation, and shut down. Like those are like your ways of showing something's not right.
Yes, I agree.
But I feel like me and you will have to talk for 3 hours for you to be able to just land on, you hurt my feelings. And we've been there before.
Yeah, I do feel like sometimes like you are looking for me to say this is what you did and this is how it made me feel. When I feel like sometimes I'm saying like, it doesn't make sense to me. I don't understand.
Hold on, let me get through my list before you start rebuttaling. Remember, I let you go through your whole list, and then
my memory don't work that good. Okay. So like I gotta hit him with it because then I forget by the time you get through the list.
All right, go ahead.
You know, I'm done. Go ahead.
But that's like an example of like I'll know where it's coming from, or at least I'll have a feeling, right? I don't want to assume. But some scenarios don't even make sense if there's no emotion.
Yeah.
And I know for you, you'll just be like, I don't get it. That doesn't make sense. Okay, you not getting it would not cause this reaction of anger or irritation or making you want to shut down. Clearly, it's more than that. Where is this coming from? And now you're getting irritated because like, I just said I don't like it.
Yeah.
Leave it alone. It don't make sense.
All right. What else do I do?
I think with your with you having a limited range of emotion that you're comfortable showing, I think your trigger is a little more sensitive to access that part of yourself. I think anger comes into play quicker than it has to.
So you think I get angry when we are talking?
It depends, right? So in the few instances that we've had that were sensitive, stakes were high, you clearly felt unheard and misunderstood.
Yeah.
I can definitely tell you were getting angry.
Okay.
I do think there's only so far you can go with angry with me because I'm not most of the time going to egg you on, and I'm not going to get counter aggressive. So, but I do notice that that's a reflex. That's a muscle reflex that you build over the years. Like, like
when the posture change.
When the posture change. So there's that, and something we both do is we're very intelligent, and we can talk our way around anything almost that we put our mind to. So a lot of times when we do get in these tiffs,
it goes into something else,
because we're really I think we go into a place where we're not seeking to understand, we're seeking to be understood.
Yeah.
So when we come into it with that perspective, where neither one of us are going to be hurt, because neither one of us are trying to understand each other. We're trying to be understood.
Yes.
So when you're talking, I'm thinking about what I'm going to say. You know what I'm saying? When I'm speaking, you're thinking about what you're going to say. And it's just around and around and around until we both get frustrated and we want to just walk away.
But we don't. So
we don't.
How do we, for people who identify like, oh, I do that. Yeah, my partner does that. What has worked for us?
I think we've put practical skills in place that help us navigate waters. Like, for instance, something and I think I don't know, this is one of your TikTok things you saw and we incorporated in our own thing. Are you open?
Yes.
So you saw something, I don't know where you saw it from.
It was on TikTok.
But you said we were talking about something, but we made it a point to ask if the person is open for feedback. Because there are times when you're just trying to express yourself and you might not want feedback or somebody's perspective or telling you what you need to work on. Sometimes you just want to express what you're going through. Yeah.
So I look at a lot of parenting stuff on TikTok, and I think that a lot of stuff that people suggest for you to do with your children also works with your partner, especially if your partner is a man, because they are very childlike. I get to say that while he's not on camera.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Oh, you're trying to blow my nose and this how you get off. Look what you do with your solo mic time.
Hello. Ladies, you feel me? So yeah, the suggestion was sometimes like people just need to vent and they don't need you to fix them. I think that when I thought about it, I didn't think about using it in the reverse, but I thought about it because Russell is a fixer. Like, if I'm telling him something, he's like, but babe, like, do you really think they meant it like that? Or babe, what about if you thought about it this way? And I'm like, I don't want to hear all that. They hurt my feelings and I'm trying to express that to you. I don't need you to fix me. So I said, how about using like, are you open? And that means if I say no, you have to respect my no.
Yeah.
And that means you're just listening, you're empathizing, but you're not trying to fix. If I say yes, then I'm inviting you in to give you for you to give me your feedback, and I'm not debating it with you. Like, I'm taking your advice, I'll internalize it and do what I need to do with it. We haven't had to use that a lot.
Nah. Most of the time, you've said you're open.
Yeah.
I recall one time we were like, no, I ain't open for nothing. we was in the car and we were talking to your son about something, and I agreed with his perspective,
I
and
like that.
I started started trying to like explain his perspective. And I said, babe, are you no, I don't.
Listen, when the kids outnumber you, it becomes us versus
I am
them.
not a child.
No, I didn't say that.
When the kids outnumber you.
Yes, the kids do outnumber us. We have 5 kids to 2 adults. Calm down.
He had a really good point.
When they outnumber you, it becomes them versus us. Like, us is us.
Sometimes us be wrong.
No, well, you tell me that later in private. Don't be telling me that in front of him because then he get a hype. Anyway,
he did get a little turned to the backseat of the car. Oh, I was like, oh, okay, I see why. All right.
Anyways,
so there's that.
There's truth moment. So I don't know if we've talked about truth moment on the podcast. We've definitely talked about it on live.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So truth moment came into play. Again, when you have to say something that may elicit a very emotional response from your partner, it gives them a chance to kind of brace themselves, prepare for impact, and allows you the space to say what you need to say, however you need to say it. And then it creates a safe space for y'all to then walk through it. So this helps us because we know I am hard truths and facts, and Russell's a lot of sugar and make it sound and taste good. So when I need to say something to him that I know may not be palatable for him, I can say, hey, truth moment. And he's like, oh, okay. Hit me with it.
Let me brace myself.
I also we do use truth moment a lot, but I don't think we use it a lot with you on me. You see what I'm saying? Like you saying you have to have a truth moment.
No, it's not necessary for you.
It's kind of a tool for me, yeah.
It's not necessary for you because I think you prefer just like the blunt.
I do.
I need to brace myself.
Yeah. Like
I've come to really admire and desire the truth. I just don't like when it's opposite of tact. And I hate when people use I'm keeping it real, I'm telling the truth as an excuse for you to be rude. Like, no, you telling the truth, but you're also being an a-hole.
Yeah. No,
like you can say the truth, but also say it in love. Yeah. And that's the issue I have. Like, nah, give me some sugar. You know what I'm saying? If you telling me my breath stank, pull me to the side, like, hey, bro, breath a little top. You know what I'm saying? We all been there. Take a piece of gum. Thank you, fam. Don't be like, ooh, your breath stank. What? I'm keeping it real. You're rude. You know you could have pulled me to the side and told me on the low. You're embarrassing me. You know what you're doing.
So if you've seen episode 5, you know what type of person that I am. I'm just gonna say it. And I think that I always expect someone that I'm in close relationship with, whether that's a friend or a significant other or my kids, I always assume that they see my heart in what I say. And I'm coming to realize that is not always true. I know when I say something, even though it's harsh, it's with good intentions. It's for what I feel is the betterment of whatever situation is happening. But I now recognize that sometimes it's not what you say, it's how you say it. And I am not ever going to be one to put sugar on it, but I know that I can soften my delivery more than what I do. Because I always think, like, would I get offended if I say this? No, then I'm going to say it. But my perception, my filter is not the same as everybody else's. And I can't expect for everybody to react the way that I would react when they receive harsh information. So that is something that I'm trying to tailor. It's difficult for me. I'm going to tell you that. And I think it comes out in our dynamic.
Yeah. You also, like, in the times that I have, like, said things that, like, maybe you disagree with, but, like, to me are my truth, you still do sometimes be like, you react, you know? It's not like, oh, I hear you, I understand that. It'd be little tiffs. It'd be tiffs.
I guess I'm trying to understand what you're saying.
Like, granted, you do prefer the truth, right? But if I say something that's my truth, but it doesn't align with what you feel or line up with your truth, it's still gonna be a tiff.
Oh yeah, I don't think that delivering the truth means that it takes the tension out of it at all.
No, not at all. I'm just saying that to say, like, I think sometimes it's like, to me, the scenario where like you have an idea of somebody who's just strong, and you end up putting more on them than necessary, but under the guise of, oh, she's strong. You know, I think it's like that. Like, I view you a certain way, but not, like, you're human.
Yeah, I don't want anybody to try to like intentionally hurt my feelings or be rude to me just because they think that I can take it. I may not show my emotions blatantly and like wear them on my sleeve, but I do have them. And what I hate is that when we get ready to have a conversation and you're like, well, you know, like you do, like, I love you and I really care about you. I'm not saying you do this, but
I do that.
And I really care about you. And the sun rises and sets on the crack of your butt.
I don't do
that. But I didn't like what you said. Like, just tell me what you need to say. Like, I don't need all the fluff.
Nah, you be needing some fluff.
I don't need the fluff.
Like, here's the thing. Sometimes that gets lost. And most of the time, when we have our tiffs, we always end up summarizing it with like, we both want the same thing. We want to be happy. And sometimes when we get caught up talking about this or that or whatever it is, we lose sight of the fact I'm talking to somebody that I love and wants to make this work.
I don't think we do.
I'm talking about in general.
People
okay, in general. Yeah. But also us. There's been plenty of times where I feel like we've lost sight of that. Where we're talking about something and we lose sight of the main thing. We get so focused on this issue that it doesn't even become about us and making us work. It becomes the issue.
Okay, when you say lose sight, I guess I do think that does happen sometimes. But I guess I think one of the things that helps us in our tough situations is that even if we lose sight of it for a moment, we always make it back there.
Yeah.
I can't recall a conversation that we've had that was left like lingering for more than a day, half a day, maybe like at night or something until the next morning because we've lost sight of what we actually mean.
Now,
we always make a point. You are mostly the person
that's the stuff that you saying you don't need. That's why it don't go through the day, because even in all of this, I'm reaffirming my intention. Like,
yeah, but I don't think that's just you.
You take it like I'm babying you and I'm trying to woo, 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 woo. No, it has something to do with what we're talking about. Like if I say, listen, I hear you. Like, I understand we're not on the same page, but ultimately, like, look, I love you. If this is hurting you, like, that's all you got to say. And I'll make the adjustment. I'm seeking to understand. At the end of the day, we both want the same thing. I want to be happy with you. That's all this is about. So you hear that, and sometimes you just like, you blatantly said, I know you love me. Like, okay, whatever. You about this though.
I don't like when we use that as a reason to stop talking. Because it's not an ender. Yeah, it's not a conversation ender. It is when you was playing Super Mario and you had that checkpoint so that if you died, you always came back to that point. That's what that is for me. Like, you didn't have to start all over. You went back to the point where you saved, and then if you die after that, you just start over from that point. That's what it does for me when we're in the middle of a conversation and you say, you know what, hold on, I just want to take a second. I want you to know that I love you. Like, for me, it feels like, oh, the game's not over. And now I have to start all over from this point because everything that I said before that seems negated. By
me telling you I love you?
No, baby. Because it does feel like a conversation ender. It does.
And I don't want it
to be that. Like, I do appreciate the resetting of the priorities in the conversation.
Think about what a checkpoint is. In the game, when you lose your way, you don't have to die in the game. You can always revert back to this one point so you don't lose space from where you came.
Yeah, no, I think it's a good thing that.
Oh, okay. Like
I wasn't complaining about. Oh,
I'm about to say that's a great thing.
That's him taking the worst out of what I said.
No, it's just okay. I just clearly misunderstood.
I was saying that it's a great thing, but it doesn't mean that the game is over.
Yeah,
it's just a point where you can now reset and start from now. We're not starting from the point of it's contention and it's an argument and we're fighting for position. Now, when we have that reset point, we're starting from the point of, look, this is love. This is all love here. And we're only seeking to understand each other and to make us better. Now, when I'm having the conversation with you, I want to get my same point across, but now the reason that I want to get it across is different. The reason that I wanted to get it across in the beginning when the tensions were high is I want you to feel like I'm right. But now when we've reset, now I just want you to understand how it made me feel.
Yeah.
And I think that when we do that, well, I guess we always do that, and it always ends on a good note. I can't think of one situation that we've had that still feels unfinished today. And I think that's one thing that I appreciate about our communication styles is that every time we've had a tiff, it's made us better.
Yeah.
Oh, you look so proud.
I'm proud of it. I want you to recognize that some of the things that annoy you.
Listen, I understand the benefit. This is why we are in a relationship with each other. Yes, you have.
No, I mean,
not for these people.
What are you talking about?
You said you never heard that?
No. Not never heard that.
Okay.
I don't think I was hearing that in this conversation. I thought you were saying like, when you do this, it like.
No. And you'll see.
That's the stuff.
So
when you say sugar, what are you talking about? Because to me, that's the sugar that I'm putting in conversation.
No, the sugar is before you even say what you need to say. You do like this roundabout, like, oh, it's like this one time when I was doing this, and then you suck. Like. I feel like you're very clear on what you're trying to say. I don't think I get it. Whole backstory sometimes that lead up to what you really want to say.
So
and I'm just like, say it.
Sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's for me. Here's what you gotta understand: emotional people, when that's triggered, will say anything. And those, if y'all listening, if y'all watching right now, you know I'm right. Me. Emotional people like me, cancers, whatever you want, like when emotions get triggered and we lose the cap off the shaking up pop, it's no coming back. Right? So sometimes the things I'm saying aren't for you. Sometimes they're for me. I'm reaffirming to myself my priorities in this conversation. I'm also reaffirming that there's love here. I don't need to defend myself. I don't need to feel like I'm under attack. But when emotional people, when we lose rationale, now we're just saying anything. Now the goal is, you hurt me, I'm going to hurt you.
Yeah.
These words are going to, it'll do you in, right? And I never want to go there. I've done that a lot in my past. So a lot of that sugar, yes, sometimes it's for me to just like get it out. I'm not going to lie and act like I'm not a people pleaser, and it's not important to me that I don't hurt people. But a lot of that stuff in conversations is for me to set the anchor down on what I'm really trying to say and what is the point of it all. Because I'll quick to get into I'm right, you're wrong, you don't understand, see, you're this. And there's been a couple times where we talk and I say something like, you always.
Yeah, that always.
You always do this. You always say this. You never like really defend it. And that's just the tip of the iceberg with that emotional stuff. And we went from one situation to now something you always do.
Key point for people in communication and relationships is nobody always does something. They don't, and they don't ever, cat. Never do something either. Like you never,
that's cat.
Like, no, you can't say that. That is creating a pattern for somebody when you may not even have had time to
Some
see
people
that.
Always be doing stuff.
Okay. Let me say this. In
Some
this
people always be tribal.
You will throw out always after one time. And I'll be like, we ain't never even.
So.
We never even faced this conversation before.
I never faced it with you. So that's another thing about. So this is another thing about communication. Having difficult conversations or expressing yourself. See, me like, especially in this dynamic, right? Where by all intents purposes from the outside looking in, I'm the emotional one. You're the one who just doesn't have those. You don't have to worry about those things, right? I don't want to feel like I'm the one that always got like emotions. And you know, when you like, first of all, I'm a man, right? And I don't want to feel like I'm the, you know what I'm saying? Like it's a weird dynamic that we have, right? So there's a lot of things that I might not ever express, right? Something might happen, I'll go, nah, I'm not gonna say nothing about that. Second time, I don't even know how to say that. The third time, now I'm angry because I've built up a resentment because I'm not expressing an issue. Mm-hmm. So now when it comes out, you think it's about this one time, but I'm reacting to the 3 times it happened. So now I'm a little irrational, and it's, you always do that. What? You never talked to me about this before. Key thing in relationships and key things in communication, you have to say how you feel.
Yeah, so just to clarify for our relationship's sake, are you saying that happens, or you're saying in general?
That's happened before.
Okay.
That's happened before.
Okay.
Like when I said the always, and I remember you told me, like, when you feel something, like, just say it. You have to tell me, like, I've never heard anything about this ever. And the first time I hear about it, it's I always do something. Like, that's not fair to you. Like, you verbatim said, I was like, okay, that's true. And I'm so busy trying to not be something because I'm worried about it rocking the boat. Then when the truth is, if I can't be me in this dynamic, then this dynamic don't work. So when I feel something, I got to say something. And if it's too much for you, then that's something we need to evaluate before we take it any further. Yeah. And
I appreciate, you being real in that situation and saying that, like, that's something that you need to work on. I think also, like, I need to create a safe space for you to feel like you can say that. So I think that sometimes the dynamic of you being the emotional one and me being like this rough and tough one, it does, like you said, create a situation where you don't want to be like, oh, I'm tripping, I'm always bringing up whatever, you know what I'm saying? So that you seem quote unquote soft or too emotional. I think I can do a better job at being more emotional with you, so that when something like that comes up, you don't feel like, oh, she's just gonna blow it off. Like, you feel open enough to say that to me, because I don't want a situation to be that you're not saying something to protect my feelings.
Yeah.
Because, like I told you, I can handle it. Like, just tell me. Like, but to feel like you're withholding something from me feels more harmful to our relationship than you just telling me what it is.
Yeah. Most of the time in any area of relationship, people fall on 2 sides of the coin, especially when there's tiffs, arguments. You fall on the side of silence or you fall on the side of violence, right? Violence is aggression, it's yelling, it's abuse, physically and emotionally. Silence is a different type of abuse. It's passive aggressiveness. It's ignoring, it's dismissing, it's withdrawing and shutting down, right? I'm silenced until I can't no more.
I believe I am too.
Yeah.
But I'm silenced in the other aspect of, it's not because I'm holding it in, it's just because I feel like if I let it out, it's going to blow up more than what it needs to be.
Same.
So for me, sometimes I need a few days to process exactly.
A few days?
Yeah. Listen, my emotions don't come that easily. Okay.
They do though.
You are moving the whole table, baby. I do need a second to maybe identify. Like, I think that we talked about this the other day. Sometimes you're trying to push me to a point
that
I'm not ready to go to yet.
That's our hill to climb.
So like, you're like, I need the emotion. What's the emotion? How does it make you feel? And I'm not ready to uncover that yet. To me, it's more of a process. To you, you are more in tune with your emotions. So I think if I was to bring up a situation, it would most likely be after I've already processed what it means to me, so that I can intelligently tell you what I feel. I think you notice sometimes when we're having conversations, I have a hard time articulating what I want to say, and that it doesn't come out as frustration in what we're doing. It comes out with frustration with me because I'm not saying what I want to say in a way that is helping you understand it.
Only when we're talking about emotions. Because you're very articulate.
It's not. Yes.
When it comes to you,
I agree with that.
When it comes to you breaking down something that I'm doing wrong, it's masterful. Listen, you break that thing down about 5-6 different ways. Very articulate. I mean, doctorate level dissertation, like 25-page essay, like reading me down. So I think this is our hill that we have to climb and learn how to master. And I think it's dope that we're working this out and kind of like living this out on this platform for people to hear. Is that for me, when you say you need 3 days to process something,
I said a couple days.
2? Yeah. What's a couple?
Yeah. I mean, like, I think usually if I pray about it, I be good, but sometimes like I be too upset.
Let's just say it's 2 days. Let's not turn
2 days. All right.
Okay, you can go those 2 days, and it's like, all right, let's just carry on. Me, it's unfinished. If me and you had a conversation, let's just give a scenario. Oh, let's use the episode 5 joint, right? So say we left that party, and we didn't resolve it.
Oh, see, that's the problem too, because after I said what I said, it was resolved.
Hold on. Let's just walk through this, okay? Let's say it's not resolved, right? I don't agree with you. You don't agree with me. I'm trying to understand where you're coming from, right? So in that instance, you're saying it don't make sense. I'm saying, well, why does me talking to somebody need to make sense to you? Are you hurt? Am I hurting your feelings? You can't say that. No, it just don't make sense. Are you jealous? Are you insecure about my dynamic? Are you worried I'm going to cheat? Do you not trust me? All things that in the grand scheme of a relationship mean something. You know what I mean? But if we leave it like, I don't know, and I gotta wait 2 days. So what do those 2 days look like?
Are we just processing time? So you're putting it in a different scope in which I said it. So I'm talking about in the instance where something happens and it bothers me. In the past, I would not have been so easily to say, this is what you did. I would take it, I would process it, I would come up with my own reasons that you said it and how it made me feel, and then I would bring it up, having already solved the issue in my head. That's what I was saying. Now, I don't think I do that. I think when I have an issue with you, I come to you immediately and tell you, and that is what I expect coming back. It is when you're like, tell me how it makes you feel. Tell me how it makes you feel. Tell me how it makes you feel. When I think I've done a masterful job, as you say, at articulating what happened and what the situation looked or felt like to me, but you're trying to get to this root emotion that maybe I haven't identified yet, and you're expecting something from me that I can't give you just on the spot.
Well, see, the root thing that I'm trying to get you to is what makes me tick.
I understand, babe.
So if you tell me you need me to do something, my motivation is the thing that you can't identify.
I get it.
That, you know what I'm saying? So if you tell me like, what's something frivolous? Like, I don't use no real stuff. But,
it doesn't matter. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
And I thank God that the instances that we're talking about are literally like 2 or 3. Like, it is not like something that we're arguing all the time or we're coming to.
We don't argue a lot at all. How many times can you say we legitimately argue?
I said 2 or 3.
I say 2. What's the third? I can think of 2 of them.
We'll have to talk about it afterward because you always be jumping on me about bringing people business.
You're right,
here,
my bad.
Like, remember that one time when you gonna get mad?
About 2 or 3 times. Okay.
Yeah, I would say 2 or 3 times. Yeah. And so we've been able to gather all of this data because communication is the foundation of our relationship. So even when we're not arguing, and I hate to say arguing because I don't even think we argue, but when we're not having a disagreement, we're still talking about everything that surrounds. How do you feel today? Like, we said that. How did that make you feel? What was happening in this moment? It's not disagreement stuff. It's everyday life stuff. But we're uncovering emotions behind decisions, emotions behind topics that we talk about here, emotions about our posture and how you feel on a day-to-day basis. And I think that helps us when we do get into tiffs, that, we're working through them on the spot. Because like I said, out of those 2 to 3 arguments, I can think of one that lasted into the next day. And immediately in the morning, I was on your phone like, look, I don't like this. I don't like the way it feels. It feels unfinished. What do we need to do to get through this? So I know that kind of, for you, those of you who are watching or listening, when we talk about our hill to climb and things like that, it is a real issue in the way that we communicate with each other. The great part is we both have made a commitment to one another and to ourselves to be honest, to be truthful, and to always work through it. So yes, there is a big discrepancy in how we communicate and how we process emotions, but it won't be a barrier to our relationship because one, we talk about it, we recognize that it is what it is. And now when we approach situations, we're coming into it with that clarity that, hey, he needs more emotion from me. Hey, she needs more facts from me. And I think we can meet in the middle. Yeah, we can meet in the middle and we can solve an issue. And I think that that's what it's all about.
That is what it's all about. And also like just character, having solid character and assessing that before you get deep into a relationship. We always reiterate, teaching from one of my mentors, Dr. Darius Daniels, dating is for data, right?
Yeah.
So you need to know how a person communicates. With that being so essential to how relationships function, you got to assess that quickly.
Very quickly.
And also their character. I don't care how mad I get at you. You don't ever have to worry about me calling you out of your name.
Oh, 100%.
You never have to worry about me trying to bring you down with my words. I don't care how mad we get. You don't have to worry about me putting my hands on you. It's just something that your mind never has to worry about because my character won't allow me to go there.
Yeah.
Now, if you're early in the dating stages and when you see these tips come up and you see aggression, you see them making you uncomfortable, you see them talking with their hands, and before you know it, you're kind of backed into a corner and he's yelling. That is a red flag. Many of us will see that. And once again, we said in the last episode, the people that you're with are a reflection on what you feel about yourself, right? So if you don't feel like you deserve better, you'll allow yourself to stay in a dynamic where you are verbally abused. And we hear about it often when a male is doing it to a female, but it also happens with females to men.
Yeah, for sure.
And
I think sometimes women are more comfortable.
You got about one more. Women are more.
No, listen to this.
Women are better communicators.
Listen to this before you cut me off. Listen to what I'm about to say.
She stayed putting us down.
Women are the ones who you see more often saying or experiencing domestic violence. But I think the undercover victim is the man. There are a lot of women who resort to putting their hands on a male with the understanding that he can't hit me back.
That part.
And I think that those behaviors come out when you feel like you're not being heard. I was someone who I never put my hands on nobody, but the aggression, the anger, the big persona came out when I felt like I wasn't being heard. Communication is just that much of a foundational element that it affects every area of your relationship. So for me, when I got ready to get into an argument with someone or a disagreement or we had to work through something, I expected anger to come back from the person that I was with. And so I came into the situation with anger because that's what I'm expecting to get back from you. And you definitely not about to out-angry me. So I'm going to come with all the big body energy that I have. So you know that I'm not no punk and I'm going to, you're not going to back me down. When I had to realize that that's not communication at all. No. Like none of that is communication, not effective communication.
No, that's like my might makes me right.
Yes.
If I can exert my will,
then I'm
then I'm right.
Yeah, I won. And so I think in this situation, I think I said in the car when we had the disagreement about you talking to your friend, I never had anybody respond to me that way. Because again, I think you saw that. It was a trigger for me. The situation was a trigger for me from past experiences. And so when I got ready to say something to you, it was.
Explains for the people who are just listening.
For the people, I'm sorry, for the people on the podcast, it was a lot of neck rolling, a lot of hand movements, a lot of snapping of the teeth. It was all of that because that's what I was used to in that situation. It wasn't someone who was trying to get me to understand. It was someone who was caught and was trying to defend their actions. So when you responded in that way, like, hey, look, I'm sorry that hurt you. Let me explain to you what it was. But in none of this am I trying to defend my actions or make you feel like what you felt was not valid. I think that in everything that we do, stating the intention helps us tremendously when working through it. So that would be my advice to anybody. If you are having communication ruffles with your significant other, with your friends, with your family, and you find it difficult to have stressful conversations with them, state your intention first.
That part.
Start the conversation with, look, it is my intention that you understand my feelings and how what you did made me feel. I don't want to blame you, but I need you to hear me.
That part.
If someone then responds with aggression or anger or whatever, I think that is a perfect cue before you get riled up to just not have the conversation.
Yeah.
Because there are some people that no matter how smoothly you come to them, they're not going to be able to receive anything that you say.
Facts.
Especially when they feel like it paints them in a certain light.
That's why we emphasize coming into relationships whole. Mm-hmm. Because if you can't own your stuff, you can't do relationships right. If you cannot master the ability to own your mistakes,
right,
allow yourself to be held accountable, approach situations with humility, and with the communication, with the ability to communicate your intent to do better. You'll never be able to navigate these. Nobody wants to be in a relationship with somebody who can never be wrong.
That's horrible.
It's the worst. Like, what are we doing here? Like, every time we come here, I just got to assume that I have to walk away without feeling whole.
Defeated, yeah.
Feeling defeated. Feeling like I'm the bad person.
Yeah.
I'm crazy.
We all know somebody who just hates to be wrong. And no matter what the situation is,
nobody likes to be wrong.
Admit it.
I hate being wrong.
I can appreciate being wrong. If I'm proven wrong in a situation, I can appreciate that. Don't do that.
Ooh, you get aggressive.
I can get aggressive in this situation because you're not going to lie on me.
You can't get aggressive in a situation because you love me.
No, but I can appreciate being wrong.
I'm just playing, y'all.
I can tell you that I don't think I'm wrong very often, but when I am,
the truth shall set you free.
When I am, I can appreciate that. I'm like, oh, you know what, you did good. You done proved me wrong. That's a pat on the back.
I'll let you have it. Go do your thing.
But no, I do think that you're right. Nobody likes to be wrong, but there are people who can handle being wrong, and I think I am a person that can handle being wrong. Period.
Yeah, it's a skill. It's one I had to develop, and the only way I developed that skill was because I learned me, and I learned to love me, right? And when you love yourself, being wrong isn't an indictment on who you are. It doesn't lessen your value because you made a mistake or because you did something wrong. Ultimately, the more you can identify the areas that require you to put more effort, they cause you to grow and elevate. And great relationships do that. And in this 1 year, I've grown more in my 100%. Entire adult life. Like 100%.
100%. I think that coming into a relationship whole also allows you to accept when you're being wrong because you know your flaws, right?
Yeah.
Whole doesn't mean that you're perfect. It just means that you understand yourself, what makes you tick, what you like, what you don't like. That's you just have a whole understanding of yourself.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that you're coming into the relationship with perfection. So if there is an area in which I'm wrong and it is already an area that I know that I am weak in, it is easier for me to accept being wrong. Now, if you come to me and try to convince me that I use the word in the wrong context, that's going to be a problem. It might be a little bit harder to convince me that I'm wrong. But if you come to me and be like, look, that emotion that you tapping into, that's not really anger. What that is this. I'm like, okay, yep, I could see that. Because that's not my strong suit. Your eyeballs are about to get you. Anyway, you want to wrap it up for the people?
No, I don't. Why you always? I swear you be watching this little clock, and as soon as it hit 59, you be trying to wrap it up.
I do.
You trying to pull us away from our people.
Wrap it up.
Why? We kicking it with our people. I want you guys to hone in on a few key points, right? Mm-hmm. Develop things that help your dynamic, help you navigate communication.
For us, it is, are you open?
Are you open?
In truth moment.
Yep. Are you open allows us to approach conversations with an open heart, mm-hmm. and also find out, like, do you want advice right mm-hmm. now, right? Mm-hmm. Or do you just want to be heard? Mm-hmm. That helps us avoid a lot of back and forth. Truth moment. Look, I'm about to say something. I want you to know that I'm going to say something that might be a little blunt. You mm-hmm. know what I'm saying? Put your seatbelt on, right? Mm-hmm. Those things serve us well. And it might not be those things for you guys, but whatever it is, you have to develop things that serve you in this area, because you can't do life right and do relationships wrong. It mm-hmm. just doesn't work like mm-hmm. that.
Mm-hmm. I think a key point for me is that communication is the foundation of every relationship, and it has to be open communication. It has to be two-way communication. So it's not just you barking orders at somebody or spewing your feelings without them having the space to also express themselves. You have to be receptive, and you have to listen with the ear that is while you're processing your emotions and how it's making you feel, but you're also completely open to what they're saying. It is not effective for you to be listening to someone just so you can have your chance to respond.
That part. Seek to understand first. Yeah.
Work on your posture. Your posture when you're talking to someone sometimes speaks more than anything that can ever come out of your mouth. I am an eye roller. I know that. He knows that. There are still times where I am not taking any offense to what he's saying, but I roll my eyes and he's like, well, what was that about? And we have to take a moment to explain that. So I think your posture.
That and you're laughing.
Yeah, yes. Being open, arms open, not crossed, not in a fighting position. And my fighters, y'all know what that means, like leaning in with your neck crooked or whatever. Your posture sometimes, again, speaks louder than what your words are saying.
That part. Master the own it or defend it. When you can legitimately see that you've made a mistake, own it. Maybe you don't think you made a mistake, but you can clearly see that you've affected somebody that you love in a negative way when that wasn't your intent. Mm-hmm. So maybe you understand why you did what you did, but your understanding doesn't line up with how your partner received it. Mm-hmm. Own it and say, you know what? My intent wasn't to hurt you, but I clearly see that I did that. I don't want to hurt you. Mm-hmm. I love you, and I'll work on that. But when you defend it, you continue down a cycle of just repetitive back and forth. Like they say, being married is having the same argument over and over again.
I repeat that in the name of Jesus.
I really don't want that for my life. I'm sure that we'll have to work around communication styles for the rest of our life. Mm-hmm. But I don't want to argue about the same thing.
No.
Like, I'm aware of the things I need to work on, and I'm aware of like my weaknesses. So when I approach those areas, I'm leaning into, hey, you know what? I'll work on that.
I think going with that is identifying your filter. It is so important to identify the filter in which you receive information. And that goes to identifying some of the traumas and some of the experiences you have that shape what you believe, how you react, and being upfront and communicating that to your partner. So Russell knew very upfront, look, emotions is not my thing. So now when we do discuss and it's heavily emotion, he does have to put a little bit more emphasis into helping me identify that. So learn your filter and communicate what your filter is to your partner, and 100%. Work on getting past it. Because just because you've identified a filter don't mean you got to stick with it.
That part. Work on you. Like the greatest investment you can make. This is another Dr. Darius Danielism. The greatest investment you can make is within yourself, right? Like there's so many factors that we cannot control. If the last year and a half has taught us anything, is that we don't control anything, right? The one thing that we have complete, utter domain over and free will over is ourselves. And the more you master you, the more you master your emotions, your mind, your spirit, your body and its impulses, the better you will be in all of these areas that you can't control. You can't control your kids. You can't control your spouse, your partner, the person you're in a relationship with. But the better you navigate you, the better you will be in all of these scenarios. That's all you can do is work on you, okay?
And I think the last thing that I want to mention is if you recognize that you're having difficulty communicating with someone that you're in a relationship with, family, friend, significant other, husband, whatever it is, try stating your intention before approaching the conversation, making it clear what you want to gain out of the conversation, why you are having the conversation, and whatever offense or whatever you may be talking about, how it made you feel. Try to level the playing field with that person so that they don't even have time to get angry or defend, because you're going in up front. You're not going in, you did this, you did this, you did this. My intention is to clear the air. It feels like there's some tension between us and I want to talk about it.
Yeah.
And then always remember that, like, you have the right to express yourself. And
always
you do have to do it in a tactful manner, but don't let anyone make you feel like you can't express what you're going through, what you're feeling. That's your right.
If you're in a relationship where you cannot express,
might not be the relationship you need to be in.
Nah, there's no success in there. Period. Look. Thank y'all so much. Appreciate y'all rocking with us. As always, you can hit us up on all of our social media handles. Y'all should know them by now, but if you don't, we are whattheynevertolduspod@gmail.com for the email. We are at What They Never Told Us podcast on IG. What They Never Told Us on Facebook.
And R&B Forever on YouTube and TikTok.
Hit us up with anything, any questions, any feedback you want, any topic suggestions, prayer requests, whatever you want. We are here in a position of service, okay? Once again, shameless plug. This is a business. We are not monetizing. The success of this business is 100% up to you guys, our tribe. So whatever is on your heart to give, please feel free to do so. Ain't no pressure coming from this way. Whatever the Lord puts on your heart to do, go on and do it, okay?
And that could be in the form. Oh, go ahead. You're just going to give him the Cash App.
It should be in the description, right?
Yes,
we
it
put
is.
Is it in there?
It is.
Yeah.
So monetary gifts are always appreciated.
Yeah.
But you can always support us by liking, sharing, reviewing, retweeting, posting on Instagram.
Yeah.
Or sharing just the information about the podcast with a friend that interests
them
and to tell them. You know what I'm saying?
That part.
That's how we do this. Somebody tells somebody that tells somebody, and then before you know it, we're at Essence Fest. Hello.
Why is that the go? Hey, but ultimately though, seriously, if any part of this resonated with you, or you know somebody that needs to hear this, you know somebody who's struggling in this area, share it with them. You have no idea what that does for us, okay?
Yeah, send them the link.
Yeah. Please.
And we don't know who watches.
Yeah.
We just get a number. So.
And we get location. What up, Italy?
Hey.
What up, Germany?
Come on.
What up, Uganda? That's how you doing.
Yep, they're gonna be offended by that one.
You're not going to be offended. I'm your brother. Welcome to the What They Never Told Us podcast.
Yep. Always remember, we love.
Y'all should love too. Peace.